Alex, I was out in the shop at 4 this morning trying to level a base plate for a new cabinet, and I realized my spirit animal isn't a tiger at all. It's a grumpy hermit crab that just wants his bubble level to stop lying to him.
Only you could find a way to turn basic physics into a personal betrayal. Was the floor uneven, or are we blaming the tools today?
The floor is fine. The concrete is solid. It's the universe, Alex. It's got a slight 3-degree tilt toward chaos whenever I pick up a wrench. But that's the life, right? Welcome to the TigerDen, everyone. We're diving into the deep end today. Everything from space-age plastic that won't catch fire to why your bank account thinks your woodworking business is actually just an expensive bonfire.
It's Tuesday, which means we're checking the pulse of the maker world. We've got some serious tech updates, a roadmap for the Sparkies looking to move into the big leagues of commercial work, and a reality check on your pricing.
The pricing talk. That's the one that usually makes people want to hide under their welding table. But before we get to the money, let's talk about the gear. The 3D printing world is currently doing things that would have felt like sorcery 5 years ago.
We're seeing the Anycubic Cobra X making waves. And for under $300, it's claiming to solve the waste problem. Tiger, you've spent enough money on plastic to pave a driveway. Is this actually a big deal?
It's massive. Look, traditionally, if you wanted to print 2 colors or 2 materials, the printer had to spit a bunch of plastic into a corner, a purge tower, every time it swapped. It's like taking a bite of a sandwich, throwing the rest away, and ordering a new one just to get a different condiment. The Cobra X is trying to shortcut that filament path. It's about efficiency. When you're a hobbyist, watching $5 of filament turn into a literal plastic brick of waste hurts your soul.
And then there's the double IDEX Challenger, independent dual extruders. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi dogfight.
It's better than sci-fi because it's functional. Having 2 heads that can move independently means you can print 2 things at once, or use one head for a complex support material that just melts away in water. This new player is adding RFID recognition. The machine actually knows what you fed it. It's like a table saw that refuses to start because it knows you're trying to cut a piece of wood with a hidden nail in it. It's taking the guesswork out of the settings.
Speaking of materials, you were raving about this Obsidian FR nylon earlier. You said it's a trade changer. Why?
Because it doesn't turn into a Roman candle when things get hot.
Well, that's generally a plus in electrical work.
Listen, if you're printing a bracket for a car engine bay or a custom clip for an electrical panel, you can't just use standard PLA. That stuff will sag if you look at it too hard on a summer day. This Obsidian stuff is flame retardant, it's tough, it's chemical resistant, and it's meant for the real world. The world where things get dropped oily and hot. It's basically the work boot of the filament world.
That leads us right into our trade spotlight. We're seeing a ton of people in the community talking about moving from residential electrical work, doing houses and apartments, into the commercial side. Big warehouses, hospitals, skyscrapers. You've been on both sides of that fence, Tiger. What's the biggest shock for a residential guy stepping onto a commercial site?
The first thing you'll notice is that the soft stuff is gone. In a house, you're pulling Romex, that flexible plastic sheathed cable, through wooden studs. It's relatively forgiving. You move to commercial, and suddenly everything is metal. You're working with EMT, conduit, and MC cable. You aren't just a wire puller anymore, you're a structural artist. If your pipe bends, look like a wet noodle, the foreman is going to let you know about it in terms that aren't exactly polite society friendly.
So it's less about the wiring and more about the metalwork?
It's both, but the scale is the monster in the room. In a kitchen, you're worried about a 20 amp circuit. In a data center, you're looking at 480 volt systems that have enough kick to send you into next week if you don't respect the equipment. And the height. You'll spend more time on a scissor lift or a 12-foot ladder than you will on the ground.
I imagine the rules change too. We were looking at the 2026 NEC updates, specifically Article 110. It mentions workmanlike manner. That sounds subjective, like I think this looks good, so it's fine.
Oh, bless your heart. In the eyes of a building inspector, workmanlike manner is a very specific way of saying, don't be a hack. It means your runs are straight, your supports are spaced correctly, and you didn't leave a bird's nest of wires in the junction box. It's about pride in the hidden stuff. The stuff the client will never see, but the next guy who has to fix it will thank you for. If you can't master the neatness of commercial work, you'll never get the big contracts.
Okay, let's shift gears to something that hits every maker, whether they're an electrician or a wood turner. The money. We're calling this the invisible profit gap. Tiger, you told me once that for the first 3 years of your shop, you were essentially paying people to let you work for them.
It's a painful memory. I'd finish a table, sell it for 500 bucks, and feel like a king. Then I'd sit down and realize I spent 400 on the walnut, 50 on the finish, and 30 hours of my life sanding until my fingerprints were gone. I was making about $2 an hour. I could have made more money collecting aluminum cans in the rain.
And that's what the Seller's Nest 2026 formula is trying to fix. People confuse wages with profit.
Exactly. If you pay yourself $15 an hour to build a birdhouse, that $15 is a cost. It's what the business owes you as an employee. Profit is what's left over after you've paid yourself, paid for the wood, and paid the electric bill.
So, how do people actually get ahead? We're looking at this maker's multiplier.
It's a ladder. First, you find your base cost, materials, wear and tear on your blades, and your hourly wage. Then you need a wholesale margin. Usually that's 2 times your cost. That's what you'd sell it for to a shop that's going to resell it. Finally, there's the retail price, which is often double the wholesale. If that sounds like a lot, it's because it is. But if you don't build those margins in, the first time a tool breaks or a customer wants a refund, your business vanishes.
We've got a list of the high-demand items for the coming year. Personalized tech organizers, especially with that FR nylon we talked about, modular home office furniture, and sustainable kitchenware. It seems like people are looking for things that are functional, but have a soul.
People are tired of disposable junk. They want the thing that was made by a person who cares about the grain direction or the way a drawer slides. But as a maker, you have to be cold-blooded about your math. You can't eat passion for dinner.
Speaking of passion projects, let's talk about the ultimate weekend dream, the small wooden cabin. We're seeing a huge spike in people building these 10 by 10 bunkies or studios.
It's the ultimate final exam for a DIYer. You're not just building a birdhouse, you're building a world. You've got foundation work, which is basically just a high-stakes game of, is this level? Then framing, which is the skeleton. If the skeleton is crooked, the skin, the siding, will never look right.
What's the one thing people always mess up on these small builds?
The roof. Always the roof. People think they can just slap some shingles on and call it a day. But water is a patient enemy, Alex. It will find a way in. It'll sit there in the dark, rotting your headers while you're inside sleeping, thinking you're a master builder.
You make it sound like a horror movie.
It is. It's a slow motion disaster. My advice, start small. Build a shed that's over-engineered. Learn how to flash a window properly when it doesn't matter as much. By the time you get to the cabin, you'll have the muscle memory to do it right. Plus, adding a small finished structure to your property is like printing your own money in terms of home value.
So, we've covered a lot. From the precision of new 3D printing tech to the grit of commercial electrical work and the cold hard math of the maker business.
It all comes down to one thing, growth. You can't stay in the same spot. If you're a residential Sparky, maybe it's time to pick up a conduit bender and learn a new trick. If you're a hobbyist, maybe it's time to stop giving your work away for the price of the wood.
And if you're looking for a project, maybe this is the weekend you finally dig the holes for those foundation posts.
Just make sure they're level, Alex. For the love of all that is holy, check them twice.
I'll check them 3 times just so you can sleep at night.
That's all I ask. Thanks for hanging out in the den with us today, folks. Whether you're at the bench, on the job site, or just dreaming in the driveway, keep your tools sharp and your standards higher.
Stay gritty, stay creative. We'll see you next time.